All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakakadash, double honor to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect out here spreading this gospel in sincerity and truth throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom. And I just ran across this article right here, man. I was just thinking in my head, man, like, hey, these devils, these so-called white people, these Edomites, they have to be taken out of power very soon, man, because all the things that they've been talking about, these orchestrated famines, this boogeyman X that they're planning on bringing the world, to bring a lot of chaos so they can bring in the NWO. All these things is coming to pass, man. But it says WEF, which is World Economic Forum, declares war on coffee. And it might seem like coffee is just a small matter, or it might seem like it's just a small thing. But you have to understand that this is the beginning of them trying to bring in a famine, basically, to get control of the people. They want control of all the resources and all the food, because then once they get control of those things, then people are going to fall in line, because people rely on food and drink. You know what I'm saying? And they want to use that to control the people, But, coffee might seem like a small matter, but this is only the beginning of what they're trying to do. You see? First it starts with coffee, and then it goes to other things, like meat. Then they try to restrict your traveling, and it goes farther than just coffee. But it says WEF declares war on coffee, no more than 2 or 3 cups per year. 2 or 3 cups each per year. You know what I'm saying? I don't even drink coffee, but it's a lot of people, they rely on coffee, man. It calms them down. It basically calms their nerves, for when they got to go to work and things like that. A lot of people rely on coffee, to stay up, to get their work done. You know what I'm saying? But now they're trying to put a stop to coffee. And like I said, it's not only going to stop with that, it's going to lead to other things. So let me go down here. It says, according to World Economic Forum agenda contributor Hubert Keller, the coffee that we all drink emits between 15 and 20 tons of CO2 per ton of coffee. Every time we drink coffee, we are putting CO2 into the atmosphere, and this is what they're going to use to justify putting a stop to these things like coffee, as well as other things. They don't even want farmers owning their own animals and things like that, because they say that having too much cattle or farm animals is putting too much CO2 into the atmosphere. So now they're justified on killing farmers' animals, and like I said, it's all to bring in an orchestrated famine. They're doing all of these things that they're doing it all in the name of, quote unquote, saving the earth, saving the planet, you know what I'm saying, from heating up. This is the lies that they tell people so they can get control, so they can get control of the things they want to get control of, which is everything. You know what I'm saying? But it says most of the coffee is produced by monoculture, and monoculture is also affected by climate change. The quality of these natural assets is deteriorating rapidly. So they're doing all of this in the name of so-called climate change. In the name of so-called climate change. I mean, they're doing this to make it seem like they're doing it for a good reason, like saving the earth, when really they're doing it because they want to gain control of everything, man. And it says, according to the World Economic Forum, coffee drinkers will have to limit themselves to 2 or 3 cups of coffee per year in the future. And this thing right here, this little passage says, now they're coming for your coffee. And it says, Swiss banker and World Economic Forum agenda contributor Hubert Keller, the coffee that we drink emits between 15 and 20 tons of CO2 per ton of coffee. And instead of reading it, let me just play this video. I already watched it. It's about 48 seconds long, so let me just play it again real quick.
We were having our coffee before the session, and you raised the coffee example. I'd love just to give you the chance to expand on that.
Basically, the coffee that we all drink emits between 15 and 20 tons of CO2 per ton of coffee. So we should all know that this is, every time we drink coffee, we are basically putting CO2 into the atmosphere. One of the reasons is because most of the coffee plantation, or most of the coffee is produced through monoculture, and monoculture is also affected by climate change. The quality of these nature assets is deteriorating quite rapidly.
You see, so they're doing everything. They're doing all these things in the name of climate change. You know, trying to save humanity, trying to save the planet. You know, global warming is heating up the earth, so it's causing everything to be destroyed. You know, this is what they're doing it in the name of. You know, trying to play like they're, you know, really for the people and for the earth, when they're really doing this to gain control of everything. You know, and this devil right here, Klaus Schwab, you know, if you just look at his face, he even looks like a fucking serpent. You know what I'm saying? He looks like a fucking reptile. You know what I'm saying? These are the people that are in control. These are the people that are in power, man. These fucking lunatics right here. You see what I'm saying? And this is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. You know? But it says German MEP Christine Anderson said the green agenda is just part of the overall globalist agenda, which is to erect a totalitarian regime in which people are under complete control. Exactly. You know, exactly. This whole green agenda, this whole climate change and global warming agenda is just an excuse so they can move in and get complete control in the name of saving the earth, you know? And it says, indeed, coffee is the latest in a long list of everyday items, including meat and dairy, to be declared off limits by the WEF. And it says 14 U.S. cities have already signed a treaty with the globalist organization to ban meat, dairy, and cars by what? 2030 to meet Klaus Schwab's climate change goals. So that is their goal. They want to do this by 2030, man. And all of these articles that come out say the same thing. It talks about 2030. That's their goal. You know, and I'm constantly saying this is their goal. And if they have an agenda to have all of these things in place by 2030, which is only a few years away, we know we can highly expect that this whole Boogeyman X thing that they've been talking about is going to happen before this time. You know, these things are right around the corner. This whole Boogeyman X that they've been speaking about is going to happen very soon, you know, because they have to cause as much chaos as they can, you know, to basically gain control and have all of these things that they're talking about set in place by 2030, man. You know, so expect a lot of chaotic events to happen in these next few years or months, you know. But it says the WEF infiltrated U.S. cities have formed a coalition called the C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group. And it says the C40 has established a target to meet the WEF's radical depopulation goals by the year 2030. The C40 cities have agreed that their residents will be forced to comply with the following list of unconstitutional rules. And it says 0 kilograms of meat consumption, 0 kilograms of dairy consumption, 3 new clothing items per person per year, 0 private owned vehicles. So you won't own nothing. You know, you'll only be limited to having 3 new clothing items per year, not even 3 outfits. You know, this is what these cities that has made this agreement with them. This is the agreement that they've made. You won't own no vehicles. And it says 1 short haul return flight every 3 years per person. You know, so these places, they don't know what they're getting into, man. And it says The C4 cities dystopian goal can be found in its future, the future of urban consumption in a 1.5 degrees Celsius world. It says the report was published in 2019 and re-emphasized in 2023. The organization is headed and largely funded by Democrat billionaire Michael Bloomberg. Nearly 100 cities across the world make up the organization. The American city members of C40 include, basically all the major cities. All the major cities, man. Let's see. Yep. And it says media coverage of C4 cities' goals has been relatively sparse. However, the few media personalities and news outlets who have discussed it have reportedly been heavily attacked by the corporate fact checkers. And it says, in a fact check aimed at conservative commentator Glenn Beck, AFP fact check claimed that the banning of meat and dairy and limits on air travel and clothing consumption were actually not policy recommendations. AFP quotes a paragraph from the original The Future of Urban Consumption in a 1.5 degrees Celsius world report, which reads, this report does not advocate for the wholesale adoption of these more ambitious targets in C40 cities. Rather, they are included to provide a set of reference points that cities and other actors can reflect on when considering different emission reduction alternatives and long-term urban visions. And it says, but this paragraph likely included in the report as a liability in the case of pushback seems to directly contradict the meaning of target, which in this context can be defined as a desired goal. So I'm not gonna let me see how far. I don't think I'm gonna read everything. I'm probably just gonna read this last passage because I think the point has already been made. But it says the target of eliminating meat, dairy, and private vehicles by 2030 is based on a future vision of resource-efficient production and extensive changes in the consumer choices. The report notes something its authors clearly hope to bring about. It says if these were not their goals, they would not have labeled them ambitious targets, man. So they're ambitious about getting these things in place by 2030, man. And this is on the People's Voice, their website, so you can go ahead and check it out. But I'm not going to read the whole thing. This is basically just an update video, to give an update about how, they are going forward with this 20 or 30 agenda, man. This whole 20 or 30 agenda, they're going full speed ahead with it. So we can expect that whole Boogeyman X that they've been talking about, we can expect that to happen very soon, man. Because they're going to cause whatever chaos they need to try to bring in, this new world order. So with that being said, man, I'm going to go ahead and give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash, double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, and peace and blessings to the whole elect. Shalom.